This is Brother Carter with Tasteful and Toxic. I also have my lovely wife with me,
Val.
Hey, Val. Be sure and tune in to us every Wednesday morning at 8 a.m.
Don't sleep on us, baby. Get up, get your coffee. Tune in.
We love you. God bless you. We'll see you Wednesday. All right. Good morning, and welcome to another new edition, second season of Tasteful Toxic. Woo, man. Where that applause at for my studio audience?
Yes, they got to
All right. I'm your main man, whatever you want to call me. Some call me Mr. C, some call me Mr. Carter, some call me Brother Carter, some call me LC. Whatever you refer to me as, I am that guy. All right. So let's get this show started. Today, Tasteful and Toxic, I have my lovely wife joining me on the show today, Miss Valerie Carter.
How you doing? And I call you hubby.
Girl.
I call you hubby.
All right now. All
Big
right.
Daddy.
All right.
My. Ooh.
All right. They don't call this Tasteful and Toxic for nothing. And we also have on the show today Miss Tahlar Rowe. I get this tongue twisted in. Tahlar Rowe. Tahlar Rowe. It's just that simple.
Let it roll.
Tahlar Rowe.
It's simple. Glass.
Wow.
It just rolls.
It's just that easy. Tahlar Rowe, how you doing today?
I am fantastic. I'm excited, but I'm a little nervous.
You
You're a
nervous?
little
Why
nervous?
you nervous?
But you're nervous for you with family, baby.
Oh, no. I trust y'all.
Mhm.
It's just, I'm
This
like a
is
sour
something-
patch.
This is something that you equip.
And the salty.
Uh-huh.
And my sour side sometimes is sour.
Oh, that's okay.
So I'm looking forward to the conversation.
Oh,
I'm looking
yeah.
forward to see what I got.
Oh
to
yeah,
say,
this is
too.
something you're gonna be ready for today.
Okay.
Trust and believe.
Thank
Trust
y'all
and
for
believe.
having me.
And we also have on the set today, not actually in studio, but outside the studio by way of virtually, my main man, Brother JBL. What's up, my man?
Good morning, everybody. I am super excited to be here. This is going to be a good show today.
All right. And so today to help navigate, I'm so sorry.
Get
I
it
forgot
right.
about the engineer, the co-captain of the show here. The one that does it all behind the scenes. Yes, she is.
In front of the camera,
In
behind,
front, behind. Yeah, she do. Yeah,
I look too good not to be on camera
yeah.
today.
She's just too cute. She's just too cute. Miss Abby,
Yes.
good morning.
Good
How you
morning.
doing?
I'm doing good. I'm excited to be here.
You all right?
I'm so happy. And to what you were saying earlier, Tahlar, it's okay. If everyone gets too tasteful, I got to bring the talk. I've done it before. I have no problem bringing the talk.
I don't know how y'all gonna be toxic on this particular show today.
Oh, what we talking about?
don't know.
Don't challenge me. I'll do it.
On today's show, we're gonna talk about something that everybody needs.
Okay.
Everybody need this.
Well, what we gonna talk
Is
about?
it coffee?
Is it a cocktail?
It is called forgiveness.
Oh.
Ooh.
Forgiveness. Yeah, were you?
I was.
So
As
what
I
is
was-
forgiveness, since you mentioned that? What is forgiveness in your
How does it look to you?
Yeah. Well, I can tell you what I was thinking about this morning, and I can tell you what I think about forgiveness.
Mhm.
I was thanking God how far I've come with forgiveness,
Mhm.
but I thought about it's easy for me to forgive because there's a multitude of things I'm so grateful that God forgave me for.
Mhm.
And I think there are a lot of people who struggle with forgiving other people. It doesn't come as easy because they don't feel like there's been enough grace extended in their life.
Mhm.
So for me, I was like, it's so easy to forgive somebody because if some people knew what I did and God didn't
Mhm.
forgive me, I'd be in trouble.
Come
but what
on
I
now.
think forgiveness is, it's a couple things, right? It's being able to let go and genuinely let go, like
Mhm.
taking your ego out of whatever the situation is or what the person, being able to look beyond the hurt,
Mhm.
and be able to genuinely move past it. And I think it's for you
Yeah.
because that other person, you can't control them.
Right.
But if you've you've either apologized or someone's apologized for you and you're accepting it, I think it's really for you. So,
Yeah, sweet. Okay,
Ooh,
that's
let
good.
me tell you, girl.
What you got on there, baby?
Baby, let me tell you something. What she just said was so on point but I'm going to give it to you from another perspective
Mhm.
of the person that really was like scratching a chalkboard when I heard people say, you just need to forgive him. You just need to forgive him. And I struggled with that because I was so wrapped up in my own pain. And I felt like you guys are seeing that person more. What about me? But the moment I got it, I stopped listening to the scratching of the board. And then I really started feeling I needed something different on the inside. Oh my God. Forgiveness is so about you, but the reward is unreal.
That's great.
Right.
It is unreal.
And JB, what you think about what is forgiveness?
I tell you what, for me, forgiveness had to be about learning how to let myself be human and make mistakes.
Yes.
And once I got there, then I can allow other people to be human and make mistakes. But until I could stop having that impossible standard of perfection for me, I couldn't forgive myself or anybody else.
And that's literally what it is expecting everybody to be at a standard that, and let's just take it even that you ain't even really at. Because you're giving yourself, you're giving yourself this false persona as if you got it all together. You tore up from the floor up too. You made mistakes. You hurt other people. You've done wrong, but you don't want to. You want to hold them at a different standard.
And I think forgiveness has to be an intentional thing. Also, you have to be intentional about forgiving others as well as yourself. We see the word forgiveness in the Lord's Prayer when you say, "Our Father in heaven," then it. I got to say the whole thing for it and get to where I need to get to. Forgive us our trespasses as we forgive those that trespass against us. And so God is saying, we're asking God to forgive us for our sins, even though he died, hung, bled, and died for our sins over 2,000 years ago. For the sins that we even committing today. And yet we find it hard to forgive people that wrong us today. And so there's got to be some intentional thinking about forgiveness, in my opinion, as far as trying to get to a level where you're freed
but I think
from the bondage of allowing other people's wronging of you. Because that can hold you hostage or bondage to your
own you.
It does own you. And I think for me, and that's why I said it earlier, everybody comes to this journey from like this. And so we all are hoping to get there. You may be in the middle of this journey, so you understand the importance of forgiveness. But you're talking to someone that's out here. So when you're saying to someone that's out here, you need to just forgive them. You need to just forgive them. They can't even comprehend what you're saying because there's
we was talking about that earlier on Saturday on the Love and Victory show about some people don't have a clear understanding of what certain things are that you're trying to convey over to them. And so when they don't have that understanding, then
they're not there yet. So you're expecting them.
And sometimes they may not ever get there.
I want to believe that when you're, and that's putting your expectation on someone else.
I'm just saying some people may not ever get there. Not putting your expectation.
No, I'm not talking about that. I'm talking about remembering that the person is here. Or they could be here. You're here. And so we're expecting someone that is here to be there when you're talking to them. Just forgive them. Just forgive them. So you have to make sure that when you're communicating that out, because sometimes the way you communicate that out can be damaging and keep them in that stuck place even more. So a lot of times it's just you drop the seed. And then you let it get watered. And then you also walk in those as an example. So you don't really, because if you're out here, you're talking a foreign language.
So let me ask you a question then, Ms. Val. Have you ever wronged someone and needed forgiveness for the wrongness that you have caused? Can you give an example of that?
I'll give an example. You.
Oh, you wronged me?
I sure have.
All right, watch yourself.
I may not have. You may have come to me, and that's why I was talking early on that other show, that you may have come to me with great intentions to try to help resolve a situation. But because I was in a state of, I don't feel that you really are having my back, you're advocating for someone else, and not knowing that, or not willing to accept that, no, you're really looking out for me. Yeah. I lashed out at you when in fact I was wrong for that. And if I could have just took a moment to understand that what he's doing in this moment, he's trying to protect me. And if I can communicate that better and accept that better, then he'll understand how his actions with no bad intent is actually hurting me in the moment. I don't want you to fix it. I just want you to hear me.
Wow.
Do you understand? So I've wronged you.
Okay, Taylor, you have anything on that?
Well,
you've been wrong before. Who has not?
Well, I'll say two things. First thing I'll say is going back to what you all were saying. It's so easy for us to ask for forgiveness for people when we didn't know better, or we didn't know and we unintentionally wrong somebody. But we have to extend that grace towards other people who don't understand the concept of why forgiveness is important. And so an example for me, I always give this example. So growing up, I didn't know how to be a friend. I was that type of person where like I didn't feel like if you my friend, you can't be friend with everybody else. Like I was very possessive in my friendships, right? Like I wanted them to be a certain way, and it was learned behavior behavior. And so as I got older, I did reach back out to people and say, hey, you know what? I know better now. I know why I pushed you away. And I asked for forgiveness. And so it taught me that sometimes our own ignorance puts us in the position to need to ask for forgiveness. But also the harder thing about forgiveness is some of those people was like, okay, cool. Like they didn't say like, it's okay. Right. I understand. I'm so proud of your growth. It was like, okay, cool. And I was like, wait, no, but like
you need more. Huh?
Yes.
So
I need you to.
So with that, I was like, well, you know what? I probably can't ever 100% make it right with them. But what I can do now is going forward, be the best version of a friend I can be. And now I'm in a position where people tell me like, you're such an amazing friend. I'm like, thank you, Lord Jesus.
You got me there.
There was a point in my life where I was not a good one, and I pushed a lot of people away, and I don't have a lot of childhood friends because of that.
Wow. Wow. That is real. Talk about owning it.
Come on, JB, jump in for a second.
Well, I love that self-awareness. And that's what everything in life boils down to, is if you can realize why you do the things you do and what you're doing, then you have the ability to change that. Right. I spent so much of my younger life in that victim mentality, that external locus of control where everything just happened to me and I was along for the ride. I was a victim. But when I learned how to get in the driver's seat and take control of the things that I can control and be an active participant in what's going on, like that changes everything. And like I used to feel so wronged by everybody because I didn't get the attention that I needed. I didn't get the love and acceptance that I needed. And I held that grudge against everybody. And I never forgave anybody for the minorest of things because that's all I had to hold on to. But that was never going to get me anywhere in life, right? Like I have to be able to let that stuff go and forgive those who have legitimately wronged me and stop holding grudges against people who I perceive that they've slighted me in some way because I'm putting all of my value on their opinion or their interaction with me or their feedback that they're giving me. That's not fair to me to do that. Like all I'm doing is dragging myself through the mud.
So how did you get to a place where you can just let that go like that? Because people in the back of the room need help with that, understanding how to let things go and let bygones be bygones.
I had to learn how to love myself. First, I had to learn how to accept myself. And that took a therapist to talk me through all the steps and processes of learning why I hate myself. What grudges am I holding against myself? And all of that stuff stemmed from childhood events and childhood traumas. And, I had some pretty messed up parents. And I took their opinion of me and made that my opinion of me. Or my perception of their opinion of me, which probably wasn't even based in reality. It was just my perception of things with my limited childhood perspective, right?
So what you're saying is, JB, what I'm hearing you say is that your grudges is not against other people, but it was based within you.
Mm-hmm.
The grudge you was having was based within yourself.
When I hate myself, when I don't accept myself, anything negative that you bring to the table is going to cut me to the core because it just confirms what I already believe about myself.
That is what I tell you. That is spot on it, because that's exactly how it works out. And that is your reaction that you're giving off to others, because it's really how you feel about yourself. And that's when I said earlier, in that space that I was in before I really understood what forgiveness was, it was really, I really felt bad about myself. And I felt like him or anyone else that was saying that to me was validating what I really felt. And so I couldn't hear forgiveness. I couldn't even comprehend what I needed to do.
Right.
It's an internal thing. Go ahead.
Yeah. Can that be a little toxic?
Baby, you don't have to ask for that. Come on.
Abby, I want you to tune in because I want to hear from you also.
Yes. Sometimes, and this is people I know.
Just go there.
Say their names. Sometimes I find that some people struggle with forgiveness because they don't want to let go of the victim identity.
And that's exactly who I was.
Right. So it benefits you.
This table pick up. You said something. I'm dropping the mic on it.
It benefits you to keep bringing up the past, how people hurt you, how whatever, because it does two things. One, it allows you not to have to hold accountability and change. And two, it keeps those other people right in the position that you want them to keep trying to repay or make it better or make amends. And sometimes there are people who benefit. So you don't want to forgive. You know you should do it, but you don't want the forgiveness because you like being
well, for me, since I'm putting myself there, get out of my business. That's who I was. Since you want to go toxic, we can go back. That's who I was. I wore it like a badge of honor because that was something I was familiar with. It became comfortable. It's kind of like these shoes. I know when I wear these certain pair of shoes, they may lean to the side a little bit, but I know how to walk in them. That's all I've known how to do is walk in them. So that was familiar for me. So to you, it looked like, or to someone else, it looked like, oh, she's just being that because
she's just normal.
She's just being that because she wants this attention. No. This was normal for me. Right. This had become a part of me. And it, JB had this thing. He was on the show one time on the other show that we have. And he had this, it was like a weaving basket behind his head. And it stood out to me on this particular show because that's literally how
it was all chaotic.
It was all chaotic, and everything is kind of all your emotions, your experiences. Sometimes it's all intertwined. And until you're able to stop the noise of everyone trying to tell you who you are, what's wrong with you, what you need to do to fix it, just kind of drown out that noise and just kind of sit in it of this unhappiness of who you've become and this person that is so broken, and cry out to Jesus and say, I need you.
And that's where we're going to go in a minute, but I want to tap into.
Oh, did you cut me off because I was having my moment?
Yeah.
I'm trying not to be toxic.
Well, but we're going to go right where you left off in a minute here. But I want to hear from Abby right here. What you think about this segment about forgiveness and where are you at this subject?
So we did do an episode a while back about holding grudges. And I said that I'm a grudge holder. Keep them in my pockets, in my purse. I keep them everywhere. I hold grudges. But this is going to sound kind of contradictory to that because I also am quick to forgive, surface level, right? But conversationally, I'm quick to forgive because I hate feeling guilty. Like you asked Ms. Carter earlier, have you ever wronged somebody? I am probably the bad guy in so many people's stories, right? Because you can only work off of what you think is right that someone else may perceive as wrong. But I hate feeling guilty, which probably comes from some sort of childhood something in me. I'm an only child. I feel a lot of pressure to be like successful and be the good one. So whenever I feel guilty about something, it like eats me up inside. And so then I don't want to make other people feel guilty.
Oh my.
And so tend to make excuses for people. Find, oh, well, they probably did it because XYZ, or they probably did it because they're going through something, or they probably wronged me because, and I justify everything.
Oh my God.
Which
I know somebody like that.
Which doesn't necessarily mean I forgive them, though. It just justifies it in my head to make it okay for me to live my life. But then when I'm by myself or by the people closest to me, that's when I'm really able to be like, no, this person really hurt me. This really affected me. And
so
when
when you don't say, when you surface forgive, it tend to rear itself back up.
Oh, yeah. It eats me up inside. I'm the type of person I will, like, if I'm fixated on something, or I'm like, I spiral, and that will be like, it will consume my like thoughts and my energy, especially when I feel like hurt or bothered by something. And so that's something that I'm trying to work through, is like actually forgiving and not just being like, it's okay, it's fine, because I don't want them to feel guilty.
But I think that I can take that a step further with the people that don't want to get into, because you said childhood trauma and all of that other stuff, why they're so quick to forgive. I don't think sometimes people really sit in what just happened to them. They are like,
just want to move on.
They just want to move on.
And I'm very much a move on, get over it.
And that is just as unhealthy as trying to force someone to forgive. You get what I'm saying? Because if it's not real. I have a trauma therapist.
Have you ever done anything so bad that you had to ask God for forgiveness? Okay, what did that look like?
Is this on the air?
Anybody?
I think I asked.
I mean, I ain't asking you to put your dirty laundries out there or nothing like that.
It's been for me, because this is what I was thinking about this morning. First of all, I started by thanking God for a couple things. Thanking God for getting me out of the situation where I was extremely wrong, and two, in changing me, and two, also just knowing that there's something beyond what you do, because sometimes it's a process. So when I was going through, because this was like years long, when I was going through something, it was like, oh God, forgive me. Oh God, forgive me. Oh God, forgive me. Then when I got out of it, I'm like, ooh, thank you, God, for getting me out of that. Now it's almost like, God, your grace is so amazing. Because that situation could have broke me. My actions could have broken me. My ignorance could have broken me. I hurt people in the process. And so for me, I have done wrong, and I have been wrong. But I think it's easier for me to really forgive other people, because I know the graces that has been extended. The fact that I'm sitting here today talking about forgiveness, being in this position, knowing what years ago my life looked like, it's like, that's just nothing but the grace of God. It's easier for me to extend that grace. But I will say, be toxic a little bit more.
Come on now, give it to
She just want to dive into the toxic part of this.
I think it's healthy. I think you want us to get into, which is and the Bible tells us this. It's easy for us to talk about extending forgiveness towards people when they don't know, or blah, blah, blah. But there are evil people. There are people who have bad intentions, who genuinely want to hurt you or break you. So, and this could be a question, or what does that look like, extending that forgiveness or grace towards people who you know intentionally are trying to do you wrong or trip you up or whatever? Do we have that same level of forgiveness and understanding?
I don't think in the human aspect we do. I don't think it's humanly possible to have that same level of forgiveness for people that are intentionally trying to destroy you, kill, steal, and destroy. You just can't. Humanly is impossible, I would say.
Okay, well, if that's the case, then why those that are not impacted though? Because see, if you're sitting over here and you know that person, I'm just going to use Abigail or JB, is trying to destroy you in their actions. But he's sitting over here talking to you about forgive, and you got to show love. You got to do that. But you know these people are really trying to take you out. But he doesn't see that impact because it's not really helping, affecting him that way, because it's affecting him on a different level because he's kind of removed out of your emotion. How can we tell them that they're wrong and they just need to forgive in that moment exactly like you see it?
Let's put a specific example on it.
Okay. You want a specific example, or you have it?
I have one.
Okay.
This is one that I really struggle with. And there's I don't know how many thousands of people out there that spend all their time calling you, posing as PayPal or the IRS or whatever, trying to scam you out of your money, right? And they do. Like my mother-in-law has been taken twice by these people. Like that person is nefarious intention, right? Personified.
Right.
I do not have it in my soul to forgive that person. If I was ever to find out where they were, I would spend all the money I had to buy a plane ticket to go whip their ass.
Yes. Yes. Just like
but
that.
Should I be trying to forgive that person for taking advantage of people all day, every day?
Wow.
That's tough.
Now, that's a good one there. But and that's exactly what I'm saying, because we're sitting here saying that we need to forgive the one that you're familiar with that wronged you. But that person, because you're familiar with that person still may have ill intent towards you. You understand? But we're still telling, because we're familiar with that person, come on, forgive them, move on, don't harbor that. Let's talk about that. How do you deal with that?
That's hard.
And I think,
go ahead.
Like I said earlier, like I can kind of in my head, I live in the gray area. I don't truly believe most things are either completely right or completely wrong. You know what I'm saying? Right. Even like the scammers, right? A lot of times, like that may be how they grew up, like scamming, or like even people who like sell drugs, like that could be all they know. You know what I'm saying? And so in my head, I'm so quick to be like, oh, well, it's because of the way they grew up, or it's because this and that. But I think it is healthy to also take a step back and be like, just because it's justified, that doesn't make it okay. And I think there's a level of how do you forgive without enabling? Or like letting go of your own values. You know what I'm saying? That I think that's where I get stuck and why I struggle with forgiveness, because I'm not going to forget. I am going to move differently now. I may have forgiven you, but I'm never going to forget what you did or what happened, what occurred. And now I'm going to have a wall up in those interactions going forward.
And see, when it comes to familiar sins against you, people that sin against you, I think forgiveness comes in many forms and fashions, I believe. I believe that, like, if it's your brother or your sister that have wronged you, they wronged you for a particular situation. I don't think you just have total forgiveness just for the person itself, but you can have forgiveness for the situation they wronged you for if they ask for forgiveness. We are justified and just should be able to forgive that person because
they ask.
Because if they ask, because God in His sovereign way of loving us, the way He has forgiven us, because we do a number of things that are contrary to God's way.
But if they don't ask for forgiveness, are we still required? And I'm just throwing it out there. I'm not trying to be.
Well, I think what you're talking about, the difference between should we forgive versus continue to love individuals. In the family situation, people that just part of your life, I don't think you ever gonna forget the hurt that somebody caused upon you. And by no means, I'm no theologian or nothing like that at this level of conversation. But I think genuinely you see somebody that have wronged you. I don't see you at that particular hurt that you caused upon me. I see you today as a new. And I embrace you in the fresh and the new, not in the hurt that you
hurt me from
caused upon me.
I think forgiveness doesn't have to mean things are going to be the same between us.
Think about that. That's the thing. That's what I'm trying to say right there.
Because think about it like this, and I'm going to use an extreme example because I think this happens more often than people are willing to talk about it. When you have a family member that maybe does something to your child, abuse of any kind, right? A lot of times, especially if it's like an aunt or uncle, that's my sister, that's my brother,
and you got
a
lot of that out there.
My cousin. That is so common to where they forgive and then continue to let that person around their child. You can forgive and feel good my camera went away, but I'm gonna keep talking.
Yeah.
You can continue to forgive them and to feel good about that forgiveness. Because again, forgiveness is for you, not for them.
Mm-hmm.
But that doesn't mean you have to continue to allow that kind of behavior.
Right. Or to allow that person into that personal space.
Right.
Even if you believe they won't do it again, still, you know what I mean? You're still allowed to set those boundaries going forward.
100%.
I'll tell you what, this is such a big topic. There's no way that we can wrestle through this whole thing in one go. So let's cut it here and pick up next week with round 2 and really get deeper into the weeds on forgiveness.